next few months will make a big difference, will create a reality that is much more positive and much more with less suffering than we can imagine in this moment, looking at the world around us as it is. You know, when we look at the environment and the economy and politicians saying things and things not really happening, you know, it's so easy to fall back into this space, which is an individual space, the emotions that somehow sabotage another reality that I feel we are being initiated to, and that is the reality where everything is possible, where whatever we believe in becomes our reality that we're dealing with as an experience. And this makes it very important for us to really be clear with our intention, what we're doing with our lives and how we do certain things. Our acts need to be very compassionate and very conscious. And I feel that more than ever, people are coming to that space because they want to. The heart in people, the inner sense and heart in people is communicating so strongly that we can't ignore that communication anymore. And even though people are suffering, I feel, you know, in the world today, there is so much conflict inside and outside, and we suffer because we like to be in a space of harmony. That is what is natural, and we see that we're not. And it is very important to ignore the addiction of falling into the negative and begin to see the beautiful, positive potential that is all around us. That even, you know, if we don't understand it, it's there. And I think most of us actually sense that inside of ourselves. And when we believe in this, when we acknowledge that reality, then it makes things possible. And I'll give you a practical example, because that's so esoteric that some people may say, well, that's very nice, but it doesn't really work for me. And, you know, my family were quite shocked that I decided not to work in what they call the normal type job, and to just trust that whatever I did would somehow help me make that reality financially possible. And, you know, I never stopped believing that what I need to do was possible. And when I believed in that possibility, finances and support came from places that I could not have imagined many years ago. And people actually don't realize that, you know, by believing in yourself and not in the lack of the self, that you create a fullness. And this fullness, I believe, takes away the suffering that we're feeling, because the suffering is only when we are not allowing the totality of our experience to be a reality. When we just live a part of our lives because we're afraid of living a complete life. You know, the fears that speak to us through the mind or through the emotions or through the body say, oh no, you can't do this, or stop, you know, that's too much, or, you know, don't go there. And we listen to those rather than really follow what I say, what I call the heart. And this doesn't mean, you know, you just do things without a sense of responsibility, but it means that you listen to parts of yourself that society, modern society, doesn't value. And this is what I learned with the shamans and the very interesting mystical people that I work with, that the one thing that was very common throughout was that they always believed in their intention and their dream, and that often created a reality out of that dream. When other people said it was impossible, something as simple as, you know, someone giving up because they have cancer, and, you know, the books say this type of cancer is not curable, and then the mind just somehow goes into a space where it feels that there is no hope. And the shamans, I found, didn't believe in the no hope. They believed that nature and the power of this more full experience allowed for much more hope, which often created such power that it allowed the cancer to be transformed to not only a positive experience, because of course when you go through such a powerful experience you learn a lot, but also into something that people have later told me that they wouldn't have missed, because actually it helped them to see life in a much more profound and beautiful way, and appreciate things that they previously just didn't see and didn't understand. And this experience allowed them, this transformation through this experience allowed them to see things in a very different way. And I hope this becomes a reality for the young people today, because I believe young people face such difficulties when they look around them, and it's so easy to fall into this no hope, into the suffering, and to give up. And I've heard that in Northern Europe, and I'm sure it must be similar in America, that more than ever today, young people give up and commit suicide. And I'm just so shocked, when this sort of thing happens, because the hope must be so